No doubt, beef exports have been growing in recent years, and that's due in part to the work of Ncba. Joining me now is Kent Backus, Director of International Trade and Market Access. Kent, maybe you can begin by explaining to folks what is the role that Ncba plays with trade as compared to organizations like USMEF, for instance?
Well, Ncba plays a very important role in opening those markets. It's important because we really focus on the policy side. While USMEF really focuses on the promotion side and market, we have to get them access into those countries. So that's one thing that we try to do is work on free trade agreements and work through our government to work with other governments to tear down those barriers to trade so that all that money we invest in USMEF can be used to promote our products to our customers in those countries.
And as you look at the global trading landscape, what markets offer the most potential to beef producers?
Well, the entire Asian continent right now is just a tremendous opportunity for us. When you consider that our leading export market is Japan, and that's a $1 billion market, that's just a great opportunity overall. But the biggest opportunity ahead of us really has to be with China. When you consider that they represent a fifth of the world's population with a middle class that's larger than the entire U.S. population, that is a huge consumer base, but unfortunately we don't have full access to China right now. So that is a big priority for Ncba moving forward.
With all the rhetoric around trade during this campaign, what do you tell people when they ask why is fair and free trade so important?
Well, when you look at exports overall, they account for about $300 per head. And with cattle prices, as they are, very volatile, we need those additional export markets in other countries. We need more people competing for U.S. beef. The importance of free and fair trade is that we can tear down those trade barriers and send our beef at a more competitive price. When you look at imports to the United States, they face very low tariffs as they are, but our beef faces very high tariffs in other countries. So it's important that we have trade agreements like the Trans-Pacific Partnership and others so that we can tear down those barriers to trade so we can sell at a more competitive price.
And explain to folks how we work with other countries like Australia and Canada, for instance.
Well, it really strikes people funny that we would work with our competitors. But when it comes to beef, we face similar barriers all over the world. So we found that it's more important for us to work together to try to increase the overall demand for U.S. beef by increasing access to more consumers than shrinking for a smaller base. So we have joined our competitors in an organization called the International Beef Alliance. And through that alliance, we work with the Australians, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, Paraguay, and Brazil to really open these other markets and to find ways where we can engage at the international level to address a lot of the same concerns, whether it be in trade or sustainability.
And speaking of some concerns, I've had a lot of people ask me what I think of all these beef imports, and particularly Brazil, Brazilian beef coming to the United States of America. Tell folks why we take in beef imports.
Well, when you look at volume and value, the United States is one of the largest importers of beef in the world. Now, a lot of that has to do because Americans love hamburgers. You know, the cuts we like are ribeyes, tenderloins, but we also love hamburgers. And most of the beef that we make in the United States is finished on grain. But you can't make hamburger patties with just grain-finished beef, so we have to import those leans. And so we get a lot of that from countries like Australia. And now we've just opened the market to Brazil. You know, a lot of the imports that are going to come from Brazil are probably going to displace imports from Australia and New Zealand because they're grass finished. They're not grain finished like what we have here. So the important thing is that any product that comes to the United States go through the same rigorous safety and animal health standards that we have here in the U.S. And that's something that we stress every day with USDA.
Thank you so much for coming to the show and explaining some of these very important issues to our viewers.
Thank you.